Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Maksim. I'm from Moscow, where I work at Sberbank. It is the biggest bank in Russia. Today we will be talking about non-conventional ways to get deeper knowledge about your application. I will show you Facebook Flipper. It is an extensible mobile application debugger, successor of Stetho, the other tool from Facebook. So, let's look into the agenda for the talk. We will be covering the history of advanced application debugging techniques. Then we will compare Flipper with Android Studio. And we will also look into some custom plugin capabilities of Flipper. The history. When Android came out, the official IDE for application development was Eclipse. All the advanced debugging features were provided as a set of tools in the SDK. One of the most useful tools for day-to-day development was Android Device Monitor. Let's see how it was looking. This is a standalone application with the following features, like layout inspector that you can see here, network analyzer to the right, and file explorer, allocation tracker, some memory debugging stuff. Oh, sorry. So, at the same time, Android Studio was released. It's here. In 2015, stable version of Android Studio was released, and with every new version, some features from Android Device Monitor were migrated into Android Studio. Oops, here. They migrated into Android Studio. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Okay. I guess my slides just mixed up a little bit, but never mind. At the same time Android Studio was released, Facebook launched Stetho. Stetho provided a new way to debug Android applications. This is Stetho. Stetho was built on top of Chrome. It used Web Inspector API to look into Android application. The same one we use when inspecting web applications. Stetho provided features that have never been seen on Android before, like database analysis, local storage inspection, convenient network profiling, and layout inspector. Unfortunately, Stetho was hard to extend. It didn't support an iOS. That's why in the beginning of 2018, Flipper was launched. Flipper is an Electron-based application with built with React.js. It was built with plugin system in mind, so it is easily extensible. Flipper supports almost all the features Stetho had and a lot of new ones. Flipper has two parts. The desktop part that runs on every major OS, and SDK that you have to install into your application. Desktop part consists of a bunch of plugins, each of which represent a separate feature. SDK has corresponding plugins that provide data to the desktop part. Those two parts communicate with each other by AirSocket over ADB in case of Android. Facebook actively adds new features, so the project is live. I filled 4 issues over several years, and I got quick responses every time. On average, the issue was resolved after 1 to 2 days. We covered history and got a high-level overview of Flipper. Now let's talk about features that Flipper provides in details. We will be comparing Android Studio with Flipper. First of all, Layout Inspector. In Android Studio, it was launched with Android Studio 4.0, and it's a clean and easy tool to use. Flipper, on the other hand, doesn't require you to install an Android Studio and provides advanced features. Let's see. First of all, you can easily find a view in a view hierarchy by tapping on the view. Furthermore, you can change attributes of the view. This can be helpful to your designers when they are trying to figure out if the text they have will fit a tab or button. Designers can also test how application will look like on a device they have, with different attributes like paddings, sizes, view, maybe properties, visibility properties, etc. You can provide additional attributes for Layout Inspector. It could be convenient for lists where you can show data object as an attribute of an item, for example. Network Inspector. In Android Studio, it has strange UI. Let's imagine that we are hunting for a specific request and we don't exactly know when it will be fired. It would be hard to do such task with the UI Inspector provides. Furthermore, Inspector in Android Studio tends to be laggy, especially when application you're profiling is a super app, like 100 megabytes or something like this. Flipper has a much cleaner UI for network inspection and shows all requests in a table. It uses Interceptor API for the data to be visible on the desktop part. Even though shared preferences are deprecated, they are still widely used. If you want to debug shared preferences, the only way you can do it on Android Studio is on the screenshot. You have to find XML with preferences in the device file explorer tab, and then you'll see the values in the file. Unfortunately, you can't change them, and Flipper provides this feature. You can not only read preferences, but also write values on the fly. All updates are logged in a special changelog widget. It's like, I think, the best way to work with shared preferences currently available. Database Inspector was launched in Android Studio 4.1, and it was in Flipper for a long time. And Flipper also provides logging capabilities and a lot more. For example, it has Fresco plugin for image downloading analysis, leak canary. You can create screenshots, create video recordings, and you can add custom plugins which you probably need for your specific needs. There is a table that compare Android Studio with Flipper, and I marked with the yellow some things that Android Studio provides with some shortcomings. Overall, Flipper, in my opinion, is a better tool to use, especially if your application is big and Android Studio lags a lot while building or syncing or something like this. Flipper lacks advanced memory and tracing features, but provides shared preferences analysis, better layout inspector, and networking inspector. It provides great support, small footprint, and custom plugins. It's also useful if you don't want to install Android Studio in case you're a tester or designer. This can be really helpful. Let's quickly look into custom plugin capabilities of Flipper. Facebook provides a guide where you can find how to create a plugin. I would suggest you to create a plugin in a folder with other system plugins. So all the syntax highlighting and the libraries will be available to you. I've decided to create a copy of ADB IDEA plugin, the popular plugin that almost everybody using. So testers won't have to install Android Studio. It was easier than I expected, but still, JavaScript is far different from Java. With the help of this plugin, testers can clear application data, restart application, uninstall, kill application under test. I've planned to add permission granting and revoking, and also window manager stuff. Please join me in this JavaScript battle on GitHub. Facebook Flipper also has a marketplace, and you can easily publish your plugin here. You should you should upload your plugin into NPM. It's like Maven, but for JavaScript world, and it will become available in this window of the Flipper application. And if you don't want to share your plugin publicly, there is a feature where you can publish just a file to your colleagues, and the plugin will be launched from that file. If you're thinking about writing a custom plugin and you don't want to join ADB IDEA plugin development, then there are some ideas for you. For example, you can create a feature toggle management plugin, or probably change endpoints from the desktop. You can create a device information plugin, maybe debugger graph analyzer, or, for example, data store plugin, right? Because shared preferences are now deprecated, and Flipper doesn't support data store yet. So you could create a pull request, and it will be merged in the master, and you'll become famous at Facebook, at least. Conclusions, at least that I've made. You could show Flipper to your designer and quality assurance team. I'm sure they can greatly benefit from it, because they, I guess, don't like to launch Android Studio really often, and Android Studio is not a tool for testing, it's a tool for developing. Flipper is convenient, especially for larger applications. You could build your own plugin or participate in open source. It's a great way to try something new, or like React.js. And when you work at Facebook, you won't have to get used to a new tool, which is also convenient. So thank you for attention. There are some links for you, and I guess I'm ready to answer questions that I probably should have on the Slido, but looks like there are none, if I'm in the right room. And okay, I guess how much time I have, I can probably show a Flipper in action, like how the program looks like. Let me see if it will be possible. First of all, I have to find a Zoom. Share, new share. Okay. Let me see. Thank you for the talk. Talk was so clear, no questions needed. I guess in the first part it was not clear at all where my slides go weird. And desktop one, I guess I can share desktop one and just quickly show you the Flipper, but my mouse, oh, it's here. So it's probably, you probably can see the Flipper now. And as I said, here is the layout inspector. Let's see if it will work. For example, we want to change the text in the toolbar here, Flipper, not Flipper. And it's now updated here. So it's pretty easy to use. And you, as I said, you can add your custom properties here. So if you have a list, you will be able to see data objects of every item, which can be really helpful if you have some complex lists, for example. Or shared preferences, you can just find it and change something else. It's updated. It's updated. Really easy. Database inspector, and of course my plugin, which can probably relaunch an app. Oh, it did. Thank you very much. Here it is. Application was relaunched, which can be helpful for testers in some cases, I guess. Thank you. Maybe there are some other questions. Oh, can we act on the database and change values to or import a ready database using Flipper? Can we act on database and change values or import a ready database using Flipper? Oh, I'm not sure that you can import a ready database. It's just API that connect your database on the device and gives you a better way to communicate with it. If you can do it from the application, if the task you're interested in, if you can do it from an application side, then you will be able to do it from Flipper. It's just better UI for the database on your device. Do you have a feedback from a company tester, so UX designers? Do they enjoy it? Yes, I've shared with some designers this tool and with the testers. For the testers, the network inspector is really cool, but they often need to mock some requests, which Flipper can't do, at least as I know, and they're using Charles proxy or something like this. But for ADB debugging and shared preferences, it's really cool, and network is also quite interesting for them. Was quite interesting for them when they don't need to mock stuff. Is Flipper a full replacement for Stetho? It's almost full replacement. The only feature Flipper doesn't support yet is internal application folder inspector, right? Instead you could look into files inside internal application storage, and Flipper just doesn't have this feature. And you can edit this feature, and it will be probably merged in the master. On the other hand, Flipper has a lot more new plugins like Fresco or what else, a better layout inspector, and supports iOS and React Native. And it supports much better. It's a Facebook focus for now. Is it possible to interpret requests and send custom responses like Charles? I've not tried this, and this is really an interesting feature that would be really cool for the tester to have, but I don't know. I think that it should be possible because Flipper, but probably you'll have to do some custom stuff because Flipper is just a tool that has two parts, and one is running on the Android side. So in the interceptor part, you, I guess, can read the requests and change them the way you need, but you'll have to implement this in the code. Is it possible to export design changes as XML? Is it possible to export design? No, I guess it is not possible to export design changes as XML because Flipper just changes view properties of the ready view tree, and Android can inflate from XML, but it, as I know, cannot do the opposite. So you can't export changes as XML. Database Flipper's full replacement. Thank you for the talk. Thank you for your time also. My time is over.